Hi cuties. So Capcom has been taking some stinky fat W's lately. Firstly, they revealed that Onimusha is returning after what will be about 2 decades when it releases in 2026, and I could not be more ecstatic about that. This is a series that deserves a lot more love, so shout out to them for actually bringing it back. Not only did they show that off, their next announcement at the Game Awards was so monumental, Jeff Keighley himself was damn near about to shed some thug tears because of its impact. And that title was none other than Okami 2, with Hideki Kamiya making his glorious return to the company to take helm of the project. I mean, 2 gigantic fat releases that are definitely delicious in the Ripper's eyes, and it shows that perhaps Capcom actually have been listening to the fans, because we have been begging and pleading for them to have some of their dormant IPs make a return. Dino Crisis fans, we gonna get ours one day, my cuties, I promise. But yeah, I mean, for Capcom, they even had Dragon's Dogma 2 be nominated for Best RPG at the Game Awards, and that was a revived / almost dead franchise for them as well, so... But over the last few days, I've seen some disappointment from my fellow Resident Evil fans, especially because we still don't really know what's gonna come next in terms of Resident Evil 9, or what it even is. But guys, we gotta stop being so greedy, for real. Think about the Silent Hill fans, for example. We went through a tumultuous decade of waiting, and the last release for a while was a dog shite PS Vita game. Like, come on, dude. Resident Evil 4's remake was just nominated for a Game Award last year. We have been spoiled with Resident Evil movies, terrible Netflix adaptations, and of course, fantastic remakes. I'm aware Capcom has been genuinely radio silent pretty much this entire year when it comes to RE, and that is certainly a little odd when we've been accustomed to getting at least one project a year, but I'm okay with them cooking up a little bit longer. The only problem is the longer we wait, the more fake stupid ass leaks come out, like, oh, did you see RE9 is gonna be a Fortnite quad collab with Chris, Ada, Claire, and Leon? Like, can we be for real, guys? We as a community need to stop paying attention to all those silly little AI fake cover arts and dumb convoluted quote-unquote leaked plots that sound like another stupid-ass Resident Evil 6 type plot, you know what I mean? I just personally think Capcom had their hands full, especially with Monster Hunter Wilds that I didn't even get into, and who knows, maybe they're cooking up a Code Veronica remake as well, like, you never know. Let me just be all the way real, of course Resident Evil isn't being neglected. What are we talking about? The notion that this series is being neglected when it's had new releases like once a year for almost a full decade now is fucking nuts. Basically, don't believe anything you see as of right now because obviously 99.9% of all leaks and rumors are a fallacy and simply meant to drive most people's engagement up. If I had to guess though, Capcom will most likely show off Resident Evil soon at whatever State of Play is next or perhaps even their own press conference. I'm personally okay with waiting as long as I need to because, lest we forget, the downfall of Resident Evil the first time around was from an oversaturation of the market, and we definitely do not want that to happen again. They're in a nice stride right now, especially with the mix of classic remakes and brand new titles in the franchise, you know? Resident Evil 9 might be however many months away, but the greedy RE fans can definitely fucking wait, including myself. I'm right here with y'all. And as a matter of fact, for an interesting Ripper fact time, the very first YouTube video on this channel I ever uploaded was one where I discussed what I wanted to see next in Resident Evil 9, fresh off of the release of RE Village. Please don't watch that video, I'm so serious, it's absolutely dog shit, I'm like whispering in it, but instead of dwelling on if the franchise is perhaps being neglected, let me just share with y'all some things I would like to see in the next Resident Evil, regardless of what it's called. I'm personally hoping for a return to smaller, more linear, closed-in, claustrophobia-inducing areas like the family house in Resident Evil 7. I think that game is an underrated masterclass in horror-level design, and to me, it perfectly encapsulates what makes Resident Evil so scary at times, you know? Listen, I know a lot of folks can't stand the first-person Resident Evil, and while I can understand that, I think it makes the game so much more scary because I personally get hella immersed with my gamer neck all up in a monitor and shit. Now, it has been announced that Koshi Nakanishi is taking the helm of RE9, or whatever the fuck it's gonna be called, so you have to assume it'll probably be first-person because he was the head for Resident Evil 7. But hey, you never know. I also believe they've genuinely struck gold with the mixture of the third and first person camera angles, like how they eventually added third person mode to Resident Evil Village. And while I know it would be a lot to ask for, I think the next title should have the option to switch back and forth between the two whenever you feel like it. Really, at the end of the day, I just want the next Resident Evil game to be scary. I think I might have said something similar to that in my very first YouTube video. I can't remember, I will never watch that video again, but Resident Evil at one point became very comically action heavy, and we cannot have that be the norm again. It's never been known for being the scariest game series out there. However, in the Ripper's eyes, Resident Evil Village leaned a little bit heavier into that actiony, meme-ass side of the RE games. I still love that shit to death, but I also want to poop myself a bit, you know? Hopefully we get to see more Jill Valentine, of course, seeing as how it's been forever since she's been in a mainline game that wasn't a remake. But to tell you guys the truth, I would not mind if they just started over from scratch with new characters too. I know this might be a bit of a hot take, but I enjoyed the risky approach of having some random ass dude in Ethan Winters be the main character. He wasn't a badass rogue mercenary pro zombie clapper, just a fella. Then in Resident Evil Village, they sort of just reverted to, hey, here's Chris Redfield a lot, he's cool as shit. Also, Ethan is kind of cool now too, like, alright bro. But yeah, Resident Evil 9 will be fun as hell, I am absolutely quite sure of it, and if we have to wait till even 2026, I am perfectly okay with that. Capcom is going to be blessing us with other great titles, and to be real, I want a new Devil May Cry game before a fucking Resident Evil one, and I'm an RE glazer. But tell me what you guys are thinking down below though too. Are you getting antsy waiting for some news about Leon Kennedy's ass cheeks, or perhaps is the franchise feeling a little oversaturated to you? We must discuss this. Shameless plug, but I will be doing a Resident Evil retrospective on my shorts tab if you guys are interested in that. The first part is already uploaded, so go lock in if you want to hear what I have to say about each game in 60-second increments. But yeah, that's really about it though, my cuties. I love y'all to death. Thank you so much for 1,070 subscribers. Come give Papa Ripper a hug. Make sure you drop a copy of Resident Evil Dead Aim on a like button. Perhaps RE6 Melee that subscribe. And I love you guys. Bye.